Hello, thank you for watching this Prism Connect training video. My name is Shannon and I will be guiding you through training session number 2. In this training session we will cover purchase agreements, patient orders, patient order receiving, invoicing, as well as stock orders and stock order receiving. As you can see, I have a patient record opened up here. This patient has been into the clinic and has decided to purchase hearing aids. So where we should go first to sell these hearing aids is on the PAs tab, or Purchase Agreements tab. So I'm going to select the Purchase Agreements tab. In the upper left-hand corner of this window, we will have a listing of any existing purchase agreements that this patient may already have. Now, as you can see here, this is a brand new patient that does not have any purchase agreements. So I want to initiate the creation of a new purchase agreement. I'm going to click the New button at the bottom of the window. After clicking the New button, we need to begin by selecting the clinician, the clinic, and the service date. One thing that we offer up to you as a little assist in populating these three fields is a listing of appointments that this patient has had. That listing of appointments includes the clinician and the clinic at which the appointment was performed. So, as a quick little assist in populating the clinician, clinic, and date of service, you can just simply select one of the appointment dates from the list. After selecting the appointment date, the appointment list disappears, and you have your clinician, clinic, and service date populated. As an alternative, there's nothing that prevents you from going through and selecting your clinician, clinic, and entering in the service date. And in fact, you can use the little pop-up, the little date picker, as a way to select the date if you so choose. Once you have those three bits of information, you can select a referral source if applicable. So if you want to keep track of, we have a referral source in the patient record, but maybe you also want to keep track of those occasions when it's been a long-standing patient of yours, but there was some marketing piece that led them back into the office to purchase a new pair of hearing aids. So in that case, here again, similar to what we saw in the patient information screen, you have the ability to select a specific referral source or marketing campaign. In this case, I'll go ahead and choose a marketing direct mail piece in the spring 2013 mailer. That will be populated accordingly. And again, we offer sub-referral source where you can free type any information, additional information that you may want to record regarding the referral source. Once you have the clinician, clinic, and service date populated, Add Aid, Add Ear Mold, and Add Accessory buttons are enabled. Let's start with the hearing aids. I'm going to go ahead and select Add Aid. That takes me to a window where I can select the hearing aid product that I'm going to fit on the right and left side of the patient. We start out with the item number. If you know the item number, you can simply type in that number, and there will be product over time. I'm sure that you're selling more frequently than others, and you can just type in that item number. The system automatically assigns these item numbers, so as you are adding hearing aids, ear molds, or any other product, an item number will be assigned to each item that you're able to sell. And so in this case, I have entered 3870. After doing so, you'll notice that the manufacturer, model, and circuit drop-downs all became populated. In addition, the price for the hearing aids also dropped into the purchase agreement lines as well. So if you don't know an item number, then that's okay. You can just go through the drop-downs, choose the manufacturer, model, and circuit accordingly. After selecting the product, as I just mentioned, you can have a default warranty periods drop in. Now for this particular hearing aid, it must not have any default warranty periods selected. So therefore you can just go through and select via the drop downs the applicable items, including battery sizes and color preferences. Price will drop in for you automatically. If you want to override that, you have the ability to do so. Just let's say I'm going to sell it at $2,300. We do offer you a space to record an adjustment that you might want to make. An adjustment will reduce the amount that the patient will owe. Now, sales tax will automatically be calculated. This purchase agreement that we're doing here is for the city of Plymouth, Minnesota. In the state of Minnesota, we do charge 2% sales tax on hearing aids. So that's why we do see the 2% tax rate and the corresponding amount to that 2% rate. So here's our subtotal, including the tax. We have two fields available here at the bottom to just kind of set up the some default pricing. Dispenser fee: what amount might we charge the patient if they decide to return the hearing aids? So you can see here we have a fee of $350 that's going to be charged, and as well as the ability to record the loss and damage fee per hearing aid. So your loss and damage fee can be defined per manufacturer. So maybe for Unitron they charge you a little bit more, so you're going to charge the patient a little bit more. But you do still have the ability to override this amount here. So if we want to change that to $250 or maybe $200, you can change it on a case-by-case basis. The dispenser fee can be defined per clinic, so each clinic can have their own default dispensing fee. Once you have the right side information set up, go ahead and click the Submit Item button. That'll lock down the information that you have set up for the right side. If you're doing a binaural aid, a binaural pair, and the left side is going to be configured the same product and pricing as the right side, you can use this Copy Right to Left button just as a little assist to quickly and easily populate item number, manufacturer, etc. Everything that you have set up for the right will be copied over to the left. You still have the ability to override, so if the warranties were different or price was different, color maybe, whatever the case may be, you have the ability to override anything here on the right side if necessary. Now before I get too far along, let me make mention of the fact that we have a couple check boxes at the very top for both the right side and the left side. Because I've already submitted the right side information, everything's grayed out, protected. That's okay. But let's say that we were going to do stock, we were selling aids out of inventory or from stock. Well, in that case, when you have the actual product in hand, then you can just go ahead and choose from stock. What will happen for you is a listing of the serial numbers that correspond to the manufacturer, model, and circuit that you have selected. A listing of all the hearing aids that you have in stock will appear. Now, you presumably would have already pulled the hearing aid off the shelf and are probably holding it in your hand, and so from this list, then you could just match up serial numbers and say, oh yeah, I've sold, it's this hearing aid right here that we're going to sell to this patient. After selecting an item from this list, you can see that an aid ID number and aid serial number have been populated on the left side. So for both the right and the left, if you choose from stock for the right side, a little listing of a list of hearing aids with serial numbers will appear right above this space here. And the difference between selling an aid from stock and not selling one from stock is that when you're not selling from stock, then a vendor order record will be created for you. And that order record can be used as a tracking record to make sure that that no orders are end up never being received. Or all right, so notice that in the listing of hearing aids, there's a button here called Other Locations. If you didn't have any product in stock at your location, you wanted to see what might be available at some other locations, you can click that Other Locations button, and a listing of the product would appear here, as well as which locations have the product and the number that each location has. Now for this scenario, for this demonstration today, I do not want to sell these hearing aids from stock, so I'm going to deselect from stock. After doing so, the 8 ID and serial number get cleared out. So I'm going to go ahead and submit the left side information. All looks good for now. So I'm going to go ahead and then click the close button. That's going to bring me back to the main purchase agreement window, where you can see now in the middle section kind of the detail of the purchase agreement. I have a listing of the 2 hearing aids that I have selected for the right and the left side. Okay, if you're also going to fit the patient with some ear molds, then go ahead and click the Add Ear Mold button. You'll be taken to a window where you'll see, similarly as to the hearing aids, the ability to select the product for the right and the left side. In this case, I'll bypass the item number, and I'm just going to go down and choose manufacturer being MTech, and I'll choose, let's do a shell from MTech that we're going to order. Now again, if you have prices set up for each of your items, then that information could drop in. This one does not have one, so I'll go ahead and type in the price. Any adjustment amount you can enter here if necessary. I'm going to go ahead and submit the item. Now again, if the left side is going to be configured much the same as the right, then you can go ahead and click the copy right to left, or you can go through and select product accordingly and edit price or make any adjustments that you need to. Once the left side is okay, go ahead and click submit item, and again I'll click close. That brings me back to the main purchase agreement window, where now in my detail I have 2 hearing aids and 2 ear molds. If I want to add any accessories to this purchase agreement, I can go ahead and click add accessory. There's no side with accessories, so we just need to go ahead and select the manufacturer and then the actual item or type of product that you're going to sell. I'll go ahead and select the streamer. Again, prices can drop in if you have them defined. In this case I do. So I'll go ahead and submit this item and click close. Now you can add multiple accessories, just need to keep clicking on the add accessory button, select your item, and then submit, close. You can add up to 4 accessories to a purchase agreement. And once you have your purchase agreement information completed, you can click OK to save. Oh, let me make mention of the upper right hand corner here. So we've got a total here for hearing aids, ear molds, and accessories. If the patient is going to put money down, you can go ahead and record that down payment amount here. I'll go ahead and denote that they're going to pay by check, and you can enter in a check number and what payment amount is it. Let's say they're going to put $2,400 down as the down payment. Okay, so I have that recorded. A couple other checkboxes here at the middle are additional information. The ability to denote this purchase agreement as one that's going to be submitted to insurance. So if you are going to bill insurance, go ahead and check that checkbox. The resulting invoice that's created from this purchase agreement will then be recorded as having insurance being the responsible party. And again, sales taxes. If your items, basically the system assesses sales tax based on the types of items that you're selling. So for each different type of item that you're selling, you can define a tax rate. So as I mentioned, this is a purchase agreement that we're doing in the city of Plymouth, which is in Minnesota. So we do charge a 2% sales tax, and we also have taxes being charged on the accessories. If this was ever a situation where you did not want to charge sales tax, then you can just go ahead and deselect the apply taxes, and the system will undo the taxes that are going to be assessed. Okay. The system will not calculate sales tax on any product that you haven't deemed taxable. So in this case, we have ear molds not being assessed a tax. So your apply taxes checkbox can just be kind of used as a way to handle like tax exempt situations. For the most part, you don't even really need to think about the apply taxes checkbox. If you want to offer a discount to the patient for any cash that they're going to um, cash with order discount, you can select a percentage from the drop down, and the system will go ahead and calculate the sales or the discount for the product. So once you have your purchase agreement information set up and to your liking, then just go ahead and click the OK button to save it. We don't have warranty dates yet. We don't have serial numbers yet. We'll in this case, what we're ultimately going to do is we're going to create an order from this purchase agreement as well as patient invoice. Before we do create the invoice and order, there are a couple buttons available to print a copy of the purchase agreement. The first one is a short form. That's what we call a short form purchase agreement. It's a one-page document that includes a listing of the hearing aids that are going to be ordered, as well as any accessories. It lists the ear molds as a non-refundable amount, check number if there's a down payment that's being put down, and a line where you can have your clinician signature and name and title appear. Additionally, we do offer a line that could be presented to the patient to have them sign. And what the founder of OddServe found is that when he was owning and operating his clinics, that if he had patients sign this short form purchase agreement, it tended to get them to mentally commit to the order and to the transaction. So he would ask his patients to sign this one-page short form. It's not a legally binding document, but just something that summarizes the order that's going to be placed, and is a document that the patient can leave with without having the actual legal binding document yet, which will ultimately contain serial numbers and warranty expiration dates. So our next step after creating the purchase agreement, the other button here is for the purchase agreement in a longer form. This will be your legally binding document. At this point, it doesn't have everything that we need. Ultimately, it is going to include warranty expiration dates and such. So we'll come back to that in a little bit. But that's the other printable version that is available here on the purchase agreement. Our next step at this point is to create the invoice and vendor order. And to do that, we can just simply select our purchase agreement, click Create Invoice and Vendor Order. It's going to ask us to confirm that we want to proceed. I'll go ahead and say yes. It's going to do a little processing and then come back and say that it was successful. What that has done is it has created a couple records for us. One is on the Orders tab, where it has created a hearing aid order and an ear mold order. The other thing that it has done is it has created an invoice record for us. So if I go ahead and select this invoice, you can see the details, including the two hearing aids, ear molds, and accessories, as well as recording the down payment amount that we denoted in our purchase agreement. Let's go back to the Orders tab here for a moment and talk about what the system has created and what we can do with this information. Okay, I've selected the hearing aid order. At the top, we just have a unique order number that the system has assigned, the date the order was submitted or created. Actually, let me go into edit mode here so we can kind of look at some of the information a bit closer. If there's a date by which you need this product, so if let's say we want it by the 3rd, maybe it's a rush order, you can record the date when you need it by. Audiogram date, is a drop-down listing of audiograms that we have recorded on the audiogram tab. So this patient has an audiogram that was dated June 28th, and that becomes selected for us automatically. The reason that the audiogram data is important here is that when we go ahead and print out the order form, we're going to include the scores of the audiogram in our order form so that it can be submitted to the manufacturer as well. This is an order from Unitron for hearing aids. We cannot change this information. We can change the bill to and ship to locations. So you can have one single location that might serve as the place where all vendor invoices from Unitron should be sent, an account number that would correspond to that location, and then additionally you can choose one of your clinic locations as the ship to location. Now we are doing this purchase agreement for the city for our Plymouth location, so it is the bill to as well as the ship to. The account numbers that you see here correspond to the bill to and ship to destinations that we have defined out in the administration area for our vendor accounts. This order is deemed pending. That is, that it is going to be one that we submit, and we will be awaiting product to be received from the manufacturer. The other statuses that you will see here is that it would be complete, meaning you've received the product, or the only other status that you could choose is whether is would be canceled, and that would be for situations when you want to cancel an order, meaning maybe the patient called up the next day and said that they want to back out of the transaction. So you call up the manufacturer and get that order canceled. Well, in that case, then you can come into the order record and flag it as a canceled order. Okay. So those are the three different statuses. This is an order that we're placing with a vendor. The only other type or category of order that you can have or that you'll see here is that it's an interclinic transfer order. If you want to have product shipped between locations, you can flag it as it. You can, in the purchase agreement, you can request that a hearing aid is going to be sold from stock, but it's going to come from another location, in which case you can flag it as a transfer request, and then an order record will be created that will serve as a tracking record for receiving a hearing aid from another clinic location. The bottom half of the patient order screen includes 16 drop-down fields that allow you to specify additional options or attributes for the hearing aids that are being ordered. So just as an example, I'll go through and select a product or an item from each of the drop-downs. Some of these are going to apply to certain models and others will not. But just to give you a sense of what is available here, I'll go ahead and select from each of the drop-downs for the hearing aids. And once you have your product or your options selected for your right side, and the left side is going to be configured the same way, we do offer you a copy right to left. You still have the ability to override and change any of the options on a case-by-case basis if necessary. So go ahead and adjust accordingly. At the bottom we offer a comment field for any comments that you want to record. And then any shipping instructions can be added here. Okay. In the lower right hand corner we do show a listing of any accessories that are being ordered. So the accessories that I added to that purchase agreement were also coming from Unitron. So accessories get tied onto the orders of either the hearing aids or the ear molds. If it's accessories from some other vendor, then there would be another order that would have been created that would have been denoted as an accessory. Okay. So when you've got your order information created and set up to your liking, go ahead and click OK to save it. Then you can print an order form if you so choose. The printable order form includes the patient name, the month and year of their birth, the manufacturer and account numbers that you're using to order the product, the left side information and right side information along with all the attributes and options that you denoted for each of the hearing aids, a listing of any accessories that you're also ordering, and then your comments and shipping instructions. And then, as I mentioned before, based on the audiogram test scores that you have selected, those scores will be included and submitted to the manufacturer as well as the hearing aid information. So you can print out this order form if you want. Go ahead and click the print button, and that can be submitted to the manufacturer. You don't have to use the order forms here. You don't have to go through and select options. So if you typically will just call in your orders, you can continue to do so. But the advantage that you have with the system creating these orders for you from the purchase agreements is that it's going to give us a record that we can track to to know that, hey, we're expecting these hearing aids for this patient from the manufacturer. And in just a moment, we'll leave the patient management suite and go to main, where we will look at patient order receiving. And in there, we will see how you can always keep track of all of your open orders. Okay, let me just go ahead and show you what the order form looks like for the ear molds. Again, you have 16 drop-down fields available within which you can select the different options or attributes for the ear molds. The labels that appear next to each of the drop-downs, as well as the values that appear in each drop-down, is configurable within the administration area of the system. So if you don't see something that you need for the various options, you can manage that information in the administration area. Let me edit that again and set up the left side the same way. And then again, any comments or shipping instructions, I'll go click OK to save it. And again, an order form can be printed out, and this information can be submitted along with the impressions that you would have for the ear molds. That's the orders tab. Let's go back to the invoicing tab, and again, in the upper left hand corner, you'll have a listing of each invoice that has been created for your patient. I'm going to select one of the invoices, the only invoice in this case. That reveals on the right hand side a listing of all the details or all the items that are being included in that invoice. Any payments that have been applied to the invoice would appear in this middle right section. The lower right hand corner will show a listing of any payments that have been received from this patient. Okay, so the lower right hand corner is all payments from the patient, whereas the applied payments section are just payments applied to the selected invoice. Let's talk about payments for a little bit. To receive a payment, you can just click on the payments button here. You can, by default, the clinic that the preferred clinic of the user will be selected here. If you're receiving this payment at another clinic location, you can record that clinic location. You could denote, let's say another check is going to be paid. You can record the payment method. What is the payment amount? Let's say that another $1,000 is going to be paid. You can record, again, check number and then the date of the payment. And then I'm going to go ahead and click the submit button. So we've received a $1,000 payment. You can apply this payment to one or many invoices. The listing of invoices that have an outstanding balance or still have an amount due will appear in this lower left hand corner. So there's one invoice for this patient. The easiest way to apply payments to your invoices is to select the payment and then hit the auto pay button. What that'll do is it'll take the payment, take as much of it as is available, and apply it to the oldest dated invoice. If that first, if the oldest dated invoice is fully paid off and there's still a portion of the payment remaining, then it will advance to the second oldest invoice and apply as much of the payment to the second oldest invoice as it can until that payment is exhausted or the invoice is fully paid. If there's still an amount remaining, then it will go on to the third oldest invoice. And so auto pay is just an easy way for the system to decide how payments should be applied to the oldest dated invoices first. And that's what it does. If you don't like what the system has done, you can undo the payment and how it was applied. Select the application, the line in the application details here, hit the double arrow to the left, and that completely undoes that application of $1,000 to the invoice. Now, if it makes sense and you want to take just a portion of a payment, apply it to an invoice, you can do just a portion of it. Let's say we want to just put $500 down on this invoice. You can just go ahead and hit the double arrow to the right, specify that amount. Again, if you want to undo that, you can just simply select the item and hit the double arrow to the left. And the other option that you have is select the payment, select the invoice, and then hit the double arrow to the right, and that will take as much of that payment as it can and apply it to the invoice. And that's how you can apply payments to invoices. What will also show up in this middle section in certain cases is when you have credit invoices for a patient. Those credit invoices will show up here, and you can apply a credit invoice to any outstanding invoices as well. I'm going to go ahead and click OK to commit all that payment activity. And now you see that we have two payments recorded down here in the lower right hand corner, and in the middle section we showed that those two payments were applied to the invoice that we have selected. Now in any of the payment lines, you can double click on a payment and you can see how it was received, at which clinic it was received, and the date of the payment, and then how it was applied to one or many invoices. For those who have administrator privileges, if after recording a payment and applying it to an invoice you realize that a mistake was made, you can delete a payment or delete how it was applied. You have the ability to do either. You can select a line from the payment application details. Let's say you applied it to the wrong invoice. What you can do is highlight that line that shows how it was applied and hit the delete button. Or if you recorded the wrong amount of payment or made a mistake, maybe the payment was on the wrong patient, you happen to be in the wrong patient record, well, you can delete the whole payment here as well by selecting the first line. That will delete the payment and any invoices to which it was applied. If you want a receipt of a payment, you can click the receipt button here. That's just a little single page document that just would serve as proof of payment that you could print out and provide to the patient. You can also print out an invoice. Click the print button, and this will show the listing of the product that is being sold within the invoice, as well as any payments that have been applied to it. If you need to make any edits to an invoice that stems from a purchase agreement, you have the ability to edit invoices until they are approved. If you need to edit, you can select the invoice, click the edit button. That takes you to a screen where you have a listing of the clinician, the clinic, and the date, so you can make any changes that you need to here. You can change the pricing of any items within an invoice. Because this invoice stems from a purchase agreement, you cannot change the product. So the item and the item description will be grayed out and protected. You would have the ability to adjust the price, or maybe in the case where you want to extend a little more of a discount, we'll make an adjustment, change the adjustment from $150 to $200. I'm going to submit that for the right side hearing aid, and I'll make the same change on the left side. So we're going to do a $200 adjustment and submit that as well. So now our items have been adjusted, and click OK to save the invoice. And now our invoice is reflecting the changes that we've made. You might be wondering about the purchase agreement stemming from these adjustments or changes that we made. Well, you'll be happy to know that the purchase agreement also will be adjusted to show any changes that you're made to pricing within the invoice. Okay, so now we're showing our $200 adjustment on both of the two hearing aid items. Okay, let's go back to the invoicing here. Oh, the other thing I want to mention too is that until an invoice is approved, any payments that are applied to it are considered part of the down payment. And so we recorded an extra $1,000 payment here in the invoicing. And if we go back to the purchase agreement, you'll notice that when we select our purchase agreement that the down payment amount has been adjusted to show that the patient has put $3,400 down on the hearing aids. Okay, so I've mentioned that invoices can be adjusted until they are approved. So at this point, what we've done is we've created a purchase agreement and order, and we've created our invoices, and we ended up making a couple of little adjustments to the invoice. So that would kind of complete all of the activity that we would need to on here being the first day or the day in which the patient has been in and decided to order the hearing aids. So to approve invoices, what you do is you go out to Main, and there's a link here called Invoice Approval. And invoice approval can be thought of as kind of your end of day activity. It gives you a chance to review all of the invoices that have not been approved, and within any of the invoices here you can double click on an invoice to just open up a little preview, a printable version of the invoice, but it's a preview of all the information that's on that invoice. And this gives you one last chance to just kind of review and make sure that these invoices are correct. So you have search options, for different ways of narrowing down the invoices that would be available. From this list, you can narrow it down by clinician as well. So if we want to just look at the invoices for Lawrence Hagen, here they are. So just different options for ways of selecting the invoices that can be approved. Now from this list you can pick and choose by using the control key. You can highlight and select it, certain rows, and then you can click the add button to move just those few, or you can use add all, remove all, etc. You can also highlight a row and drag it down, or highlight several rows and drag them down into this lower section. What you're essentially doing by selecting invoices and moving them from the top to the bottom is you're identifying the invoices that you're saying are ready for approval. Once you approve these invoices, they will be locked down and no further edits can be made to them. And it also, invoices that are approved then will begin to show up in your sales statistics. So out on Main, there's a link called Sales Reporting where you can get a look at your sales statistics for any given period, and only approved invoices are included in your sales reporting. So I'm going to go ahead and approve these 6 invoices. Just got a little confirmation, make sure that you want to proceed. So we'll let this process for a moment. Ultimately, it's going to come back and should give us a message of success. there's our message of success. And now our invoices have been approved. Click the close window, brings us back out to main. So that would kind of conclude your day's activities on the day when a patient came in and ordered hearing aids. Now let's assume that a couple days have passed and you've just received a shipment from Unitron or from your hearing aid or ear mold manufacturers, and so now you need to receive the product. Well, out on main here you can see there's a grouping here called order/receiving, within which we have a link to access or create stock orders, receive stock orders, excuse me. And the other link that we have available here is to receive patient orders. I'm going to click on that link. And you can see we've got many orders outstanding here for our Plymouth Clinic. This being a little demo database, we've got a lot of old data. And we have this list of orders sorted from oldest to newest, where the assumption being that the oldest orders are going to come in first. So in our case, if we scroll down to the bottom of our list, we'll see our orders that we submitted for Anita Abbott, our patient. We have different ways of sorting or searching for our orders. If you want to limit it to just the orders of, let's say, a certain manufacturer or vendor, you can choose your vendor. In this case, we've got a few open orders from Unitron. So if you've received a box from Unitron, obviously it would make sense to just go ahead and limit your orders to that manufacturer or vendor. You can also change the listing of open orders to include those of other clinics or all clinics. And in the category, the order category drop down here, we offer you the ability to sort between transfer orders or vendor orders. Now it looks like most of our orders here, we don't have any transfer orders pending, I don't believe. Yes, we do, if we expand it out. Okay, so transfer orders again would be those where we had requested product that existed or was in stock at another clinic location, and somebody from that other location initiated a transfer or sent those hearing aids to the requesting clinic, and so they can come into patient order receiving and receive them here as well. But let's go back to our orders for Unitron here, and we'll do vendor orders, and we'll select the order that we have outstanding for Anita Abbott. So let's say the hearing aids have come in for Anita Abbott. Once I select that hearing aid order record, you'll notice at the very bottom we show a listing of related orders, meaning, hey, we've got ear molds that we've submitted or requested from MTech. So just as a little bit of information, just be advised that there are ear molds as well that are tied to this patient order, and that's because both the ear molds and the hearing aids were ordered or stem from the same purchase agreement. So I'm going to go ahead and click the edit button, and what we're doing now is we're recording when we have received the product, and the current date will default in. You can denote if you have a vendor invoice that's come along with the hearing aids and you want to input the costs of the product into the system, you can go ahead and check the enter costs checkbox. If you don't enter costs, that's okay. Then these fields here will be disabled. So I'm going to go ahead and walk through a scenario in which we are entering costs. So I'm going to make up a vendor invoice number. and invoice date. And as you can see here, we have a default shipping charge that's dropped in. You can define your shipping charges or default shipping charges for each of the manufacturers. So if Unitron typically charges you $14.95, as we have here, you can have that amount default into your cost fields each time you're inputting the cost for a Unitron product. You can input the total tax here on this line, and what is the invoice total. I'll make up an invoice total, and let's say it's $1,100. We'll make it $1,114 for easy math. $1,114.95. What the system will do is it'll take that invoice total, subtract the shipping amount, and make that amount be the cost for the hearing aids. So in this case, $1,100. So you got $1,114.95. Subtract the $14.95, that leaves us with $1,100. That is divided up amongst the two different hearing aids for a cost of $550. Now in cases where you have accessories also as part of the order, that math may not be exactly correct, so you can adjust the cost here. Let's say our cost in the hearing aids is $500, so you can adjust the cost accordingly. And then down in the lower portion you can input the costs for each of the accessories. So let's say the streamer, the streamer is $60, and we'll say the mic is $40. So now you can see with the cost input for the streamer and the mic and the two hearing aids, our total that's being allocated is $1,100 in cost, $14.95 in shipping, which is divided up amongst the two hearing aids, and our total is $1,114.95. That matches the invoice total that we have defined here at the top. So all is well in terms of cost. We just need to walk through the remaining fields here for serial numbers and warranty expirations. So I'm going to go ahead and make up a serial number for this aid. You can input your warranty expiration dates. So we'll do a 2-year warranty. Extends out to the end of June of 2015. If you didn't know battery size when the product was being ordered and you now know what the battery size is, you can select it here. This will feed into the aid record and will become part of the patient's aid record or listing of aids, and that battery size will be displayed there. And again, if left side information is much the same as right, you can click the copy button. Now in that case, what it will do is copy over the warranty expiration dates and battery size over to the left side. We do still need to enter in a serial number because again we are expecting those to be unique. So I'll make up a serial number in this case for the left aid. And we've got all of our order information entered. I'm going to go ahead and flag this order as complete. What that will, as soon as we flag an order as complete, it will drop off our list of open orders. So I'm going to go ahead and flag it as complete. If there was any information missing, and that would include like serial numbers and documentation numbers, if you don't have that information completed, then the system will warn you that it needs to have serial numbers and document numbers, as well as a document date. So go ahead and enter all of that information and then click OK to save the order record, and that's going to go ahead and do a little processing. Now in a case where you want to see messages notifying you of differences in cost, the system is designed to show you and warn you in cases where your expected cost where the actual cost is different than the expected cost. You can define the percentage of threshold after which the system will notify you of any differences, and then it will also let you know that, hey, the cost that you input was $500, we were expecting $600. So that sounds like a difference that's in your favor, but it will also warn you in cases where the actual cost is more than expected, and so that might be a scenario in which you might need to dispute or raise some concern with the manufacturer about the amount that you were charged. Now, if the amount that you were charged for these particular items should serve as the new expected cost or standard cost, you can go ahead and say yes to this message. Whether or not this message appears and whether or not cost can be updated from the screen is configurable, and you can manage that in the system settings, again, out in the administration area. I'm not going to update the cost of this product, so I'm going to go ahead and say no here. And that order has dropped off our list of open orders. If I change my vendor, and let's say now that the ear molds have come in, I'll scroll down and again choose the order for Anita Abbott, our patient record. Again, we have a listing of related orders, in this case the hearing aid orders from Unitron. Let's go through the exercise of receiving the ear molds as well now. Today's date drops in again. In this case, I'm not going to enter costs. Let's say we had just some sort of packing slip number in this case. So I'm going to go down and enter in serial numbers for the ear molds. And warranty expiration dates, if applicable. Again, I can use the copy button to copy the right side information over to the left. The only thing that doesn't get copied is, again, the serial number. We do need serial numbers for ear molds in order for the system to recognize or to accept the order as complete. So if I want to flag this order as complete right now, it's gonna warn me and says that it doesn't think that everything has been received, and that's because we don't have serial numbers for the ear molds. So if serial numbers are not assigned to the ear molds, you can just use the ID number of the ear mold. This is a system generated number. They will be unique, so go ahead and just use that as an alternative. Or for that matter, you can type anything into the serial number. Now I'm going to go ahead and flag it as complete. That order is going to drop off the list as soon as we save it. We might get a message here again about cost. No, we didn't enter cost, so we're not going to get a message about cost here. But we are going to be notified that the system has detected all of the orders have been received that stem from the purchase agreement. And so the system has created an event for us reminding us to call the patient to come in for their fitting. Okay, so we will talk more about events in training session number 3. But that is the way in which orders are received. Included in here would be any orders for repairs as well as new product. So they will repair orders will show up in this list as well. And the act of receiving repair orders is very much like what we've done with the ear molds and the hearing aids. Okay. Let's see. The other thing that we want to talk about here is stock orders and stock order receiving. So if you carry product in stock, especially hearing aids in stock, you'll want to go into stock orders window and create an order for the product that you have for the hearing aids that you're going to carry in stock. So go into the stock order form, click the new button. That initiates the creation of a new order. Select the vendor from which you're ordering the hearing aids, and then again you can choose a build to and ship to location. Based on the vendor that you have selected, a listing of hearing aids will appear in the upper right hand corner. You can select one of the items from the list, and that item will then drop down into the details. So in this case, I've got the Latitude 8 Moda, and let's say I want to order 2 of those. So I'm going to go ahead and enter the quantity of 2. Now, if you want to select or specify any additional options or attributes about the hearing aids that you want to order, you can use these drop downs. The only one we have presently defined is a RIC length, long, medium, short. So I'll go ahead and choose medium. You can use options 2, 3, 4, and 5. You just need to go into the administration area under the item called order lists, and you can tailor, configure these additional drop downs to your preferences. If the hearing aids are going to be non-refundable, you can denote them as non-refundable and click the submit button. And then again, we can just repeat this step. So if we want to order some next 16s, I'll say, oops, Latitude 16 is fine too. We're going to do 2 of those as well. And I'll just hit submit. So you kind of get the idea here. The other thing that you can order is any batteries or accessories, any miscellaneous product that you want to include in the order. Some of these might be serialized, in which case you can, during the order receiving process, you can input serial numbers for any serialized accessories. And again, you can enter any comments here or any shipping instructions here. And click OK to save the order. And again, we do offer up an order form. If you're calling in your orders, you don't have to use this order form, of course, but it is available if you so choose. That's the creation of an order form, or a stock order. Now, if you want to receive those stock orders or when that product is actually coming in, then what you can do is click on Stock Order Receiving. This again will show you a listing of any open orders that you have pending and the locations to which the product was to be sent. At the top of our list here is the order that we had submitted for our Plymouth clinic from Unitron. So I'm going to go ahead and click the Edit button to receive this order. Today's date will drop in. The current user ID will drop in as the receiver. And then what you can do is just go down and select one of the items down in the order details. That item will appear in the detail at the top. There's fields available to input the serial numbers. So I'm going to make up a serial number for this hearing aid. RIC serial number if applicable. You can enter in a warranty expiration date. So let's say that these hearing aids have a 1-year warranty on them. And what is the document number? This document number could be an invoice number or it could be a packing slip number. I'll just make one up. If you hadn't denoted the hearing aids as non-refundable, but maybe the manufacturer is running some promotion, and if you ordered some non-refundable hearing aids, you get a steeper discount. So you can flag the hearing aids at the time of receiving as non-refundable or refundable. So we had originally denoted these 2 hearing aids as refundable, so I'll just go ahead and leave them as such, and then hit the submit button. And then the next record in the order detail becomes automatically selected. I can just go to the serial number field and begin to enter in the serial number for this other hearing aid. I'll hit submit. And when you're receiving accessories, if they are serialized, then it's very much like the hearing aids, and you can input the serial numbers for those accessories. Okay, so I've input serial numbers for all of my of the product that we had ordered. It's all come in. I'm going to flag this order as complete and then click OK to save it. And now that order is going to drop off my list of open orders, and now that product that we have just received is going to show up in inventory and will be available to be sold on any purchase agreements or invoices. Okay, that's stock order receiving. The last thing I want to talk about is the creation of a repair order, or maybe a loss and damage claim. So let's go back into the patient management suite. I'm going to bring up another patient record. In this case, patient Gertrude Smith. I'm going to go to the Orders tab. And let's say that Gertrude has come in and she's having some problem with her hearing aids, and so she wants to send them in for some repair. So I'm going to go ahead and initiate a new order. Current date will drop in as the order date. Again, you can choose the use the audiogram test date drop down to select any audiogram scores that, or choose an audiogram test date, and then those scores will be included in the order form. Now this patient doesn't have any. This drop down is blank, so I'll just continue on. To which manufacturer are we submitting the repair? And then what is the order type? You have three options for types of orders, new orders. You can do an ear mold order, loss and damage, or repair. In this case, I'm going to do a repair. Again, you can denote build to and ship to locations. For repairs, ear molds, or loss and damage orders that you're creating, it's important to select a clinician for those clinics who compensate their clinicians based on a percentage of sales. Ultimately, when we receive this repair order, an invoice is going to be created, and that invoice will have this clinician selected on it, and so that clinician would get credit for this sale. So that's why clinician is offered up here as a way to just make sure that the right clinicians are getting credit for sales. You can click on the drop down to select the clinician, or there's a link here called select appointment that opens up a little pop-up dialog where I can select the listing. So if you couldn't remember who met with this patient, who set up the repair or what have you, then you can bring up this list of appointments and then select from the appointment list to get the right clinician selected. Excuse me. Now down in the details of the order form, we need to select a repair type, and I'll go ahead and choose a 12-month warranty repair. After I select a repair type, then a pop-up window appears with a listing of hearing aids that this patient has in stock. It's not only hearing aids, but it's also ear molds and any serialized accessories. So if an accessory needed to be returned to the manufacturer, you can select from this list. Doesn't matter whether it be a right or a left side for the accessories. Doesn't matter. You can set it up for either side. But in this case, let's say it's the hearing aids that are going to be sent in. So I'm going to go ahead and select that hearing aid from the list. You can select it and then say use selected item. If you've got a patient who just came in off the street, it's a brand new patient to you, you don't have any hearing aid records on file, this list would be blank, in which case you can click item not in list, and what that does is it opens up a little opens up some fields where you can input serial numbers, select the manufacturer, model and circuit, battery, etc., and basically set up a new hearing aid record within the system that will be the hearing aid sent in for repair. Okay. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and just use one of the selected items. You'll see that information now drops into the bottom of the information for the right side. Now again, you have 16 drop-down fields available to denote the reasons why the hearing aid might be submitted for repair. So again, you could just go through and select what's applicable. I'm just selecting a lot of values here just to give you a sense of what's available. And then you have again up to 16. Some of these do not have labels next to them. The values are blank, so you can configure these options to your own liking within the administration area. If you're going to do left side, same as the right, you can again choose the repair type, choose the hearing aid that's applicable. Again, that'll be populated, and then all the options or attributes can be copied over to the left side as well. You can do just a right or just a left. You don't have to do both. Again, any comments or shipping instructions as needed. And then an order form is available for the repair. It's denoted as such. And that's how you create a repair order. Loss and damage ear molds, very much the same. Again, this repair order will show up in your list of open patient orders out on main in the patient order receiving area. So let's go in there. Let's choose our manufacturer as Unitron. Here's our repair order for Gertrude Smith. So let's say a few days have passed, that aid comes back, and now we want to receive it. I'm going to go ahead and click Edit. Today's date drops in. You can input costs if you want to or not. The serial numbers will be populated. If they just swapped it out and gave you new hearing aids, you can input the new serial numbers here. The new warranty expiration date. I'm making up a vendor document number and doc date. It could be an invoice number or a packing slip number. I'm going to copy that over to the left side as well. And then I'm going to flag this order as complete and click OK to save it. And now what the system is going to do for us, again, it's going to warn us about the expected costs. I'm going to go ahead and say no to that. But what the system also will do for us, it will create an invoice record. So in this case, invoice number 2130 has been created, and we can go into that invoice now and edit it if we need to, as we need to. In addition, another event has been created reminding us to contact the patient and have them come in to pick up their hearing aids. So if I'm going to close this window, go back into the patient management suite, and let's take a look at that invoice that was created for us. So here we have an invoice record. Now, because there's so many variables with the with repairs, there's often amounts, unexpected amounts, or differing amounts in terms of the costs of repairing and the amount that you might want to charge a patient for repairs. So an invoice record is created. If you have your repair items set up with the default price, that price can drop into the invoice by default, but you will still have the ability to edit the invoice. You can just go ahead and click the edit button, select the item to be edited, in this case our repair, and then we can enter a price. So let's say we're going to charge, it's $50 for the right side, and we're also going to charge maybe there's some additional cost with the left side, so maybe it's $75 for the left side, and submit that. And then go ahead and click OK to save the invoice. And now we have our repair invoice ready to go, where we can go ahead and print it out and provide it to the patient. So we have covered a great deal during this training session, but that concludes everything that we needed to cover. If you have any questions about the material that we've covered here in training session number 2, please don't hesitate to contact us at OddServe. And with that, I'll leave you be and wish you a great day.